Hello and welcome back to Dark Souls. So, I actually was recording me fighting Midir for a while, and I was doing so well that I filled up my entire hard drive before I actually got him, and I still haven't gotten him. So rather than subject you to that anthology of failure, we're going to go from here, and hopefully I'll do a bit better. I've refined my strategy a little. I don't think it's going to be impossible for me to do this guy. 2, 3, sweep, dodge, swap to spear, wield the spear, hit him with the spear, dodge the upcoming follow-up. Swap this. It's all very... Yeah, I'm an old hat at this by now. Old hand at this by now. Get close to him, but not too close to him. Because if you get too far from him, he instantly gives you. If you get too close to him, he instantly gives you. But just this length is fine. Don't punch him. Why would you try to punch the dragon? And he's coming at me. Oh wow, I was so far away from him that he didn't even have a chance. Okay, I'm against the wall, which sucks, but hopefully I can... Nope, I had to get hit by that. Obviously, no choice in the matter. Cool shot. And 1, 2, and yep, now he's tired. Get a couple shots in. Just one more. There we go. Okay, run away like a little Dark Soul that you are. Wait for us down to get back. Speaking of which, the Chloranthy ring is so good. It is so good. Like, the level at which it increases your stamina regen is insane. 1, 2. He hasn't really put me in a position where I can... Oh, there we go. Speaking of... Oh, oops. There we go. Be really careful meleeing him. He is not very open to the idea. Let's say that. Yep, alright. And can I get a shot in? No, okay. Okay, I didn't need one. Run to the left, run to the left. We're okay. Swap to bow. Hit him in the head. Well, hit him in the neck, that's fine. Oh, no. Oh, we're okay because you have good armor. A little bit of this. Oh, whoa, I was inside his head there. Inside his head is not a place we want to be when dealing with a dragon. This I have learned from hours of experience. That was not great for me. That's okay. These things happen. One more. Okay, thank you. Calm down. Calm yourself. A little bit over here. Shoulder blade. Get him in the shoulder blade. Yeah. You'll never see it coming. A little bit of this. Alright, that's fine. Don't need any more than that. And Gwyn. That's the other strat against this guy. Go for his junk. Whenever you need to manual aim, just go straight for his junk. Oh, okay. That was slightly more dangerous than I thought it would be. And I thought it would be pretty dangerous. I'm out of his range. Don't follow up. Thank you. Unfortunately, I didn't hit him. I missed. Luckily, so did he. A little bit of this. Again. Dodge the sweep. Thank you. Stop trying to do that. I was stuck in the shooting animation. Get hit like an absolute chump. Get 5 rep to Kingdom Come. Never have a chance. Where was I even dodging? If they came back, that would be... Oh, I zoom incoming. Uh-oh. 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 Okay. Okay, we're still alive. He don't... What the hell? He just spends 20 minutes firing that laser. Holy crap. And... Oh no! Too close! I was too close! Arrgh. My responses to him are so paltry. He's like, he does all this, and I'm like, oh no! This is part of his attack, that's awesome. Oh no, 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 no! Oh no! I had to go one way, but then he tipped me on the other! Still, we did alright. Oh, come on. Never mind. Never mind. When he's going up against the wall, there's not a lot you can do. Don't get up against the wall. Come on. Now let's... No! Pay attention. Don't get greedy. Pay attention. Don't get greedy. And... Does he have... He doesn't have a follow-up. Doesn't have a follow-up. Get him. Oh no. What did I do? Oh, I should not have done that. I should have just rolled. That's right, I was a crap shot anyway. Hey there. Syfro from the future here. This dragon took me so long to beat. So long to beat. That, I kind of got... I get tired of having to record every single run and try to make interesting commentary over the top of it. It's kind of hard to do that on the 50th try. So instead, I thought what I'd do is... No, that was a great shot by Mage 10. Is to talk a little bit about the story that we are experiencing over here in the DLC. In the Ringed City, per se. There's a couple of things that I missed when I walked through them the first time. The first is... When you first arrive in, not the Ringed City, but the Dreg Heap, that's the one. When you arrive in the Dreg Heap, the crone with the shell tells you that you're not the first to come here. And I thought that she meant, Lap. I thought she was talking about Lap that had already come here. But that might not actually be the case. Because what you'll notice, if you pay attention, is that there's a couple of spots where there's a special message left on the ground for you that burns with a stronger fire. And there's also the shadow of someone pointing down. These are the drop down here, you won't die messages. And if you pay really close attention, you'll see those are actually left by Gale. Like the Slave Knight Gale. And when I saw him over here as the final boss of this DLC, I was like, well, okay, it's cool, I guess, but why is he here? And the reason for that is revealed a bit more after you defeat him. I won't spoil that. But he's the one who's actually come here before you and is leaving a trail for you to follow. He left those messages specifically for you, telling you to drop down, telling you where to go, telling you how you could follow the trail to reach him specifically. And that's pretty cool. And it really much more justifies his placement as the final boss of this DLC. That aside, the whole deal with the pygmy, right? So, we come to the Ringed City, and we see all this fabulous stuff, and Darkeater, Midir, etc. But we still don't see any trace of the pygmy. Which led some more credence to my theory that the pygmy is just referring to man in general. Like, we see a whole bunch of humanoid dudes running around. We see a whole bunch of Herald Knights, which are kind of like overgrown Lothric Knights, really, that's all they are. But, again, some of these guys that you fight just have those dark crystals pouring out of them. Indeed, the city itself is afflicted with darkness. It's a couple of good headshots right there. In the distance of the Ringed City, you can see those crystals, the ones that you sprout when you have a critical massive curse on you. You can just see them overgrowing in the distance. Like, I still don't know fully what's going on in a Ringed City, what happened to make it like this, but somewhere at the center of it all, the Dark Soul lies. And that soul is kind of... yeah, this move sucks. And that soul... sorry, let me just talk about this fight for a moment. That move, with like the heaps of Dark Souls popping up to mess with you, it sucks because it gives you just this other thing that you gotta dodge, right? It puts your attention on the Dark Souls to dodge them, and while you're doing that, Midir is just free to stomp your face. Really, really annoying move. In fact, this fight in general is so hard. It is such a hard fight. But yeah, well, camera back where it belongs, Syfro. Anyway, talking about the curse and the darkness in general, this whole place is just like beset with darkness, to the point where Darkeater Midir is like one of the last sane, I guess you'd call it, beings in here. And the handmaiden who bids us to slay Midir, while he still possesses some of his self, I actually do go look for her in a future video, and she's just not talking to me at all anymore, because of story reasons. But at this stage, he is still fulfilling his mandate as the guardian of this place, despite all the darkness that he's subjected himself to. And his status as Darkeater Midir tells you a lot about what he's been doing, right? He's the guardian. He is the guardian of this place. He is the last bastion between the outside world and the last daughter of Gwyn. Now imagine for a moment if this dragon were not here. Imagine for a moment that the darkness was free to spread throughout the Ringed City. It would look much different. It would look much different to how it does today. Like, the core of the city has been protected because Midir has just been devouring the darkness that is bleeding forth. He has literally been eating the darkness, taking it into himself so it does not spread too greatly. And that's got to be rough on him. Like, yeah, it's making him super powerful, but in the meantime, it is ruining his day. Eventually, it will lead to him losing his semblance of self. And that's kind of what the handmaiden, whose name I just totally forget, that's what she's really afraid of. Because once Midir turns fully feral, not only will he have forgotten his vows, but not only will nothing be left to defend the place, but he's going to be actively spreading the darkness himself. So I think her real motivation is that she doesn't want Midir as an enemy. She does not want that one bit. I do believe that she sincerely thinks of Midir as a friend, which is kind of strange, right? Like, there's some of the dialogue that she has later on, which I don't see in this playthrough. You can look it up on the wiki and stuff if you're curious. Really does imply that she and Midir are friends. She and Midir kind of share this duty to protect this place. Like, she's one of the last spears of the church. And Midir is the dragon that serves them. The dragon that was bound here by Gwyn. Which is in itself so interesting. Midir led the war against the dragons. And aside from Syfro the Scaleless, we don't know of any dragons that kind of betrayed their own kind. Killing shot? There it is. Midir down. So at this point, you can become one of the spears of the church, and you can eat the soul of Midir if you so choose. Now, two things that are really interesting. One, Gwyn charged a dragon with protecting his last daughter in the Ringed City, in the heart of the Ringed City. Let's read this. Twisted soul, steeped in strength. Midir, descendant of the archdragons, was raised by the gods, and owing to his immortality was given a duty to eternally battle the dark. A duty that he would never forget, even after the gods perished. So he was like a baby dragon during the war. And he was raised by Gwyn et al., the gods who defeated the dragons in the first place. He was raised by them. Let's read this one. The spears of the church watch over the princess's slumber, and when the church is compromised by a trespasser, the Darkeater summons them as loyal spirits to eliminate the threat. Summoned automatically while this is equipped. Loyal spirits summoned by the church, as spears of the church, are granted the blessing of protection. That actually gives you quite a bit of interesting gameplay, because you can become a spirit of the church and then take part in that fight against the half-light what's-her-face. You can be in that fight. And if you're outnumbered, you actually get buffed to compensate. You can beat one of the bosses for that fight, which is awesome. So cool. So cool. Oh, and later on when I find the Purging Stone, there is also an option to bring that fight back. To like reset that fight, even though it's a boss fight that you've defeated. And I guess the reason for that is to give you more interplay with the spears of the church. Pretty cool. Anyway, a little bit of leveling now and turning in the Midir soul. What it can turn into is kind of interesting. Like really interesting. Just once I find it. Oh, there's the first one. Come on, press the button. Right. A memory of an old sword found deep within Midir. This sword uses souls to grant form to the fort and attack with it. Attacks are coupled with light waves, and sustaining this stance before attacking increases their speed and potency. The sword is named after moonlight, but it is slightly different than the one fashioned by the pale dark Syfro. Perhaps it is rooted in an older memory, not long after the beginning. So, if you look closely at that sword, I don't do it in this run, the moveset for that is actually akin to the moveset of a sword you find in Bloodborne, the Moonlight Greatsword. And that's like that throws the whole chronology of the series. Ooh, another item. Yes, a dark weapon symbolizing Darkeater Midir. The once exquisite blade is now stained black and frayed at the hilt. Without its sheath, it will soon crumble into nothing. Assume a holding stance. Yeah, now I will use it. It'd be cool. Yeah. It, again, mixes up the chronology between Bloodborne and Dark Souls in an interesting way. I don't know if it's, like, purposely calling it back, or if it's, purposely calling back as just, like, a goof. Just like, hey, Bloodborne. Or if it's literally an indication that the two settings are linked. Irafil would certainly suggest that this is true. Yeah, so this one's a katana. And what's super interesting, is that this is being used by, one of the last guardians of one of the last spears of the church. Like, she uses a sword fashioned of darkness, which has some pretty cool moves on it. She uses a sword fashioned of darkness to fight you. Like, the Ringed City is so suffused by darkness that its defenders, the church, the last remnants of the followers of Gwyn, use darkness. Like, they use it as a weapon. Yeah, sure, it's an effective weapon, but there's a bit to be said for using the blades of your enemy, right? Crank it up. Yeah, this is actually a really cool weapon. Like, the stibbity stab on it, the special moves on it, can be quite cool even during boss fights. The super speedy slash, not so great. But the big dark strike is like, kind of sweet. And it looks so cool. It looks so cool. Get some different armor on. Anyway. So, yeah. Like, Darkeater City offers us some new perspectives on just like the world, the setting. And it's kind of awesome how it ties everything back together, especially how it ties back to the Ashes of Andariel. That's something we'll find out more about in a future video. I know it now because I'm like recording this in hindsight. But yeah, it does a great job at just tying together a couple of elements that had not yet been addressed. A couple of elements that were left open, left to interpretation. And while admittedly a lot of stuff is still left to interpretation, a lot of questions are answered. This, like, having Midir be in the city at all is such a big question mark. Such a huge question mark, because Gwyn, like, fought tooth and nail to defeat the dragons, and then he takes not one but two of them into his service? Like, purposely raises one as a weapon, as a guardian of his daughter? Seems like an odd thing. Seems like an odd thing for Gwyn to do, is all I'm saying. So yeah, that's the end of this video. Now I'm just re-equipping myself. But yeah, this fight took me so many hours, so many tries to actually finally get down. But I did, in the end, and I got a cool sword out of it, so that's pretty neat. I'll see you in the next video, where you'll be returned to your regularly scheduled present Syfro, or past Syfro, depending on how you think about it. I'll see you guys then.